Have been under pressure but never fell victim to it. I burn pressure, get on my feet and face the music. I am pressure, the pressure to succeed like I must come up. I am pressure, the pressure to believe when it seems no one else does. I am pressure, the pressure that's only felt on the inside. I am pressure that busts pipes. I am pressure, the kind that makes you not want to be you. I am pressure. Trust me, I'ma choose me over you. Cause I was pressure once to be someone else. I've been pressured, but with no purpose, I became someone else. I've pressured myself to recenter myself. I'm the pressure to keep moving forward, even if it's with nobody else. I am the pressure applied when survivor's guilt sets in. I am the pressure that presses nonstop, that wants me to give in. I became pressure cause I refuse to fold. I'm the pressure felt when you hit that road, and the pressure to return grows. The pressure to choose comfort over the unknown. I am what has grown under pressure. I am what I've owned under pressure. I am in my zone under pressure. My knees, my ankles, my will not buckle under pressure. I just lift. I just lift. I rise above the pressure, break down pressure, and I roll the pressure, burning pressure, smoking pressure till the pressure stops. The pressure in my lungs as my casket drops. Now the pressure's someone else's, until then it's mine. Pressure's only pressure if you accept said pressure in your mind. I am pressure. Watch out. I am pressure. Rise up or fall down.
This is ruthless. I had these ruthless thoughts. It's ruthless thoughts of the these ruthless thoughts of the haves and have-nots. Yeah. These ruthless thoughts of the haves and have-nots, while both equally as half-hearted, just trying to tie knots with nothing but feeble hands and faint frayed ends. See, a life of backbends sends the message that whether we go backwards or forwards, it's always towards the ground, until we're just buried in unsound reasoning, inconceivably conceiving the unthinkable. The once thought unsinkable is now shrinking, like the tipping point of the iceberg, slipping in the blink of an eye, turning in the boiling pot, a plot twist thickening, changed by what's been quickening at a pace and scope. The hope for humankind depends on whether we climb the escape rope or we let it be our noose. But regardless of what we choose, our chances are only 50-50. Even if we're thrifty, our sin pretty years are long behind us. We chose not to see the signs, wasting the seas, and no one seems to pay no mind. We may not have the time to laugh and say, ha ha, hindsight was 2020. 2020. That number, that phrase, that word, that has a whole new meaning now, huh? And after all that, after all of that, you'd think we'd quit while we're ahead. No, but instead, we just go back into doing our same old shit. Bruised cracks shift in our fault lines. We covered up in shadow. Rib cage rattles and rumbles like the battling of the dirt of the earth. We've been birthed from destruction, and yet we expect to function in peace. Piecing together phrases that you can't quite remember other than, what's that? Other than, God. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. but left out that the hole we dig in is only getting deeper. So is it cheaper to henceforth lay ourselves to rest or test what we may be worth and what we become after? Because no matter where your beliefs may stem, don't get it twisted. We all are part of the same problem. You know, in a world where the reflection of Narcissus is in every crevice, misdirection and self-remedies are spoon-fed without practice, and we act as if we progress much further than we have, when the fact is, we're still lost. Still not knowing any answers. But it seems a pick on the gram with namaste hands is all we need to make ourselves believe we understand as we live on standby. As the sand of time keeps on, as the sand of time keeps on, as the sand of time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future and right through our fingers. Wow. Any trace that lingers of the analog is now replaced by the digital, even down to the likes that were given, causing a spike in overdriven self-deemed divinity trying to decide how other people should be living. Proving ourselves right, that if we ain't happy with our own lives, the hive tends to pressure us to extend our self-judgment onto others instead of being our lover to our own self-esteem. I mean, when has that ever worked, right? With all of our awe-inspiring quirks, of course, we were destined to become desk clerks. You know, at first it must have been nice, actually, you know, to be provided the comfort. Didn't have to suffer and survive on what we could run for. Unless it's change. Yeah, change we never stop chasing. Especially when it gets thrown on the floor. And we close doors with and by our own minds, limit ourselves to confines, in it we cannot rewind and find the meaning of what we come here for. While for 77 years ago, it seems like a dream fading as if it never happened. We'd rather be snapping and telling your mama jokes because it stokes the flames of misogyny underneath the feminine that we keep continuing to burn at the stake. Watching, just watching, while having cake and eating it too. Framing the point of view that patriarchy don't preach, don't sway, nor does he play. Well, just not at least leaving long enough to even stay around. See, my daddy, my daddy left nothing but broken promises in the attic. You know, just static wishes made by tossing tarnished coins into an empty well. But as each one fell, they carved the cave drawings of my ancestors on the walls. Clinging strings, singing an ancient alchemy to guard this hypocrite we hide, that we often side and dwell with down there in the Great Divide. Gallant on the outside, but truly goofus. Foot and mouth wide open and toothless, espousing the calcified words of the truthless. Ruthless thoughts of the haves and have-nots. Ruthless thoughts of the ruthless thoughts. Ruthless.
Somewhere between breaking and broken, my heart sits suspended, It abuses me and accuses me, and I'm beating myself with my own hand. Somewhere between going and gone, my mind is stuck on questions. They're incessant, they're ever present, and I'm losing my will to stand. Somewhere between the tiles of my bathroom floor, I am nestled, trying desperately to cry and wondering if I will even exist when this storm is over. I usually do.
Last time I saw her, a smile was wrapped around her head. Last time I saw her mind and heart, like an almost pure white ruffled shirt, she was almost naive. Green. Last time I saw her sitting in her mother's backyard, nothing but an oversized t-shirt on to swallow her up. A vile cat had run off with her tongue, staring at the cows across the fence, hoping one would just jump over the moon in the soft green, touching her bottomless, bare sorrow. Silent tears protested. Last time I saw her, she stood, with a crimson fist that had just connected to the driest wall, crumbling through her knuckles, her heart barely standing, a half-collapsed shack, the owner becoming too overwhelmed by the mess to handle the upkeep. Last time I saw her, I buried her. Before she killed herself, I did it for her. I placed her in a meadow away from everyone. I visit her often, scooping up the tiny yellow flowers, laying them on her warm ground. It is because I put her to rest that I can live.
Your 20s, a time of restlessness and change. As you navigate life's twists and turns, it can feel a little strange to be unsure of your purpose and your place, and to search for your own unique voice without hesitation, with grace. But don't let the uncertainty consume your mind. Take a moment to breathe and then be mindful, because that's when you'll find that in your restless heart, you may find the peace that needs to be healed. Embrace the journey with all its ups and downs, and trust that each experience will help you to grow and to learn. For it's in these moments that your unique voice may be found, and you'll discover the path that you're meant to bound. So don't rush the process, take your time, and let your inner voice guide you on your climb to the person that you're meant to be, living a life that's authentic and free.
Stillness, stillness, stillness. I have been a sporadic spill mess. I've got so many feelings and I pour them out as I feel things. I don't hold on to moments, I ride in all my emotion. All I do is be vulnerable, and it allows people to turn tables. They let go of their fables. I've seen angry people heal and my delusions become real. I've watched my seeds become flowers, and I felt my pain turn into powers. I tiptoe up towers, I am all the sweets and sours. I get lost in my duality, and I soak up my sensuality. I feel powerful being sensitive, I don't worry about the sensible. I am incomprehensible, and I look at life like a festival. 'Cause I cannot be explained, I can only be experienced, so I will no longer be concealing. In fact, I'm actually here peeling back the layers under the ceiling to see all that I've sealed in. I wonder what I'll find within. I had to stop becoming who I wasn't anymore to take form of the woman that I am at my core. I had to make a home for the little girl inside who never felt quite good enough or even alive. I've figured out how to hide myself so well that I've fallen deep into a well of messy identities and confusing chaos, but I've always used the noise to playfully stay lost. I was at comfort in the pain, and I was so cozy there, so I stayed. I became at home in the dark, but I lost track of that spark. The sun was gone, I felt no heat until I rediscovered that child in me. So you see, I am too, a delicate balance, one who was and one who will be. I bounce around in between, my internal and external worlds. I like to give myself a twirl, and I get to choose how I express and who gets all of my expressions. I am an entity beyond worth entertaining, and I don't have to make it make sense. I think nothing actually makes sense, so I love doing nothing. I love being nothing. I love feeling everything. I like the way my words fill up a room. I like the way my hands unfurl and move. I like the way I step all intentionally, even though I am so lost directionally. See, I've always been stubborn in my unknowing. I've never known where, but I'm always going. I never knew, but that was the point. I wouldn't find it until the end of a joint. I'd follow the high until I found my voice, and then I would sit and simply rejoice in the energy that is all mine, and the way I am so divine, the ways I allow myself to feel aligned, and this magic makes me age like wine. This world is my stage, and I'm just a dancer with no training at all. I'm much more of a chancer. I take all the chances. I run with all the romances. I fall in love with romanticizing, so now my life I am fetishizing. I'm learning to value my mind and my body. I'm obsessed with my morning coffee and going to the dog park. I do little things to tend to this spark. That's why when people compliment my energy, I remind them that I work on it daily. I put in practices to let myself come to fruition. I take time to be soft and listen to my own intuition. The ways I'm learning to love myself are unmatched, and it all happened by becoming detached from the person I was and the person that I'm becoming. Instead, I'm the awareness of being in the moment, and I'm learning that these pieces of me can all stand hand in hand. As in, I am all the people I used to be, and this woman sitting here, and you see. And at the same time, I have never changed. It's all just been fun ways to rearrange. All the ways I feel in my body, which never quite felt like it belonged to me. So a disconnect to myself was natural. It was the only way to withstand it all. But I've made my world a place that encourages me to expand. So I'm really looking forward to sharing all my little land of mental mindscapes that go on endlessly, and the way that my rambles rage on relentlessly. My inner child lives lovingly alongside all of these weird, wonderful waves of my mind. Because if we're being honest, I've lost sense of my identity. Now I'm just a sweet being, an idea entity. And through that release, my soul finds real ease. So call me what you please. I'm always swinging between selves like a trapeze.